All right, everyone, in today's episode, let's get into the nitty-gritty of contracts. There are two contracts that we use. There are the as-is, there is the as-is, and the standard contract, and we're going to go over key talking points, key things that you need to know about both, so you understand the process. Now, typically, in the nation, they use an as-is contract. Here in the villages, primarily, we use the standard contract because the villages, property of the villages, uses a form of this type of contract when they get into pre-owned or a new home sale. The as-is will allow you to get out during the inspection period for whatever reason and get your escrow money back. The standard contract, they have the opportunity to make repairs during that process, and you're bound to it at that point in time. So now this is not taking into consideration any other contingencies. And what I mean by that, you have a contract, it's negotiated, fully executed. You have an inspection period contingency. You also might have a financing contingency, a home sale contingency. We're not talking about those contingencies. We're only dealing with the differences in the as-is and the standard contract when it comes to getting your money back and the inspection period. So the as-is, the seller, or the buyer, the buyer orders an inspection. Could be 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever. So they order this inspection, and it comes back. Now, they may say to the seller, hey, listen, there were a couple of minor repairs. We're just going to let it go, make the repairs, and we're going to move on. There could be some repairs that they want to now renegotiate because they made an offer on the home thinking there might have been only a few, but now more came back and they don't want to make that kind of offer now because there are additional items that need to be repaired. So they may come back to you and say, sellers, there's $5,000 in repairs and we weren't really expecting that. We want you to, number one, make the repairs. Number two, we'll take a concession at closing and we'll make the repairs. Or they're going to back out entirely. So just expect, even with an as-is, you might still be negotiating during that inspection period. And again, they can back out for whatever reason. The standard contract binds both parties. During the inspection period, again, whether it's 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, whatever it is, per your contract, the seller is required here, you'll see this block, to make repairs. It could be a specific dollar amount. It could be up to 1.5% of the sale price of the home. Depends on how the contract is written. Now, when we go into contract negotiation, so like say I have a buyer a buyer makes an offer on my seller's property, and it's listed for $400, and they make an offer $375. We can say, okay, we'll accept that offer, but we want to limit our repairs to $1,000, or we'll make whatever necessary repairs there has to be made, depends on the home. So that's all negotiable right there. We send the contract back, it gets signed, whatever. Sometimes they may come back and the seller may say, well, we don't want to make any repairs. When we're in the negotiation process, because when that happens, I will not allow my buyers to sign an offer with a standard contract where the seller is not paying any repairs, because you're bound to that contract and we don't know when it comes back from inspection what we're going to find. So in that instance, if the seller does not want to make any repairs, I tell the listing agent, hey, listen, we're going to put this on an as-is contract or we're going to have to move on, because I don't want you to get into a contract where we're going to have to fight to get your money back. So standard contract, you get the inspection, it comes back, and we say, yep, all right, it's 1.5%. There's only $5,000 in repairs. The seller can make them. The seller, the same, might make a concession at closing. You have that option. They may say, okay, hey, guess what? We really want to make these repairs ourselves, so just give us a closing. And a lot of times they're really happy with that. So those are the two key differences here. And you need to know that there are two types of contracts that exist. Now, typically here, you will find an as-is contract if the home is in bad shape. Like they know it needs repairs, they're not putting in a standard contract. Or if, I'll find this a lot, if a listing agent doesn't do a lot of work here in the villages, they write it up on an as-is contract. So understand there are two types of contract and how that's going to affect you. One, the buyer can back out for any reason. That could be good or bad for the seller. Number two, the buyer can't back out for any reason. Could be good or bad for the seller. All depends on the situation. Again, if you have any questions about the contracts, my name and number is up above. I'm Robyn Cavallaro. Make sure you are protected by hiring a real estate professional to safeguard your best interests. Call me. I'm your girl. All right, until next time.